The feeling I got in One Piece chapter 1140 was the rooftop. Yes, I felt like it was the rooftop because that's the last time I seen Luffy and Zoro going this hard together in unison to fight an opponent. And that opponent was Big Mom and Kaido. So Scopper Gaban, I gotta give you respect. And Scopper Gaban, if we're being completely honest, he was most likely stronger than Big Mom and Kaido during God Valley. So definitely a very respectable character for them to go all out. Luffy went Gear 5, which is so cool to see, of course. And then Zoro went King of Hell mode, kind of like it looks like the Kankusaki coating is coming off his sword, but that's still debatable. This entire chapter had haki debates going on because did Scopper use Kankusaki coating or was it just regular armor haki? So many debates happen, and I'm gonna do a deep dive on all that stuff. Plus we got 2 new Holy Knights and also a plot twist, a new Kanjuro level plot twist just happened. So One Piece chapter 1140 was really good for progressing the Elbaf arc, and I'm gonna do a deep dive and I'm gonna have fun with this one. So in the chapter, Luffy tries to take the key from Scopper with very good seriousness, and Gaban just pulls out the haki onto the key, and through Luffy's reaction, Luffy's like, haki? It looks like just some strong armored haki, if I'm being honest. I'm not gonna be biased. At first I did think it was Kankusaki coating when I read the spoilers, but after reading the chapter, it just looks like a very strong armored haki leaking from the key. Nami says he's strong as well, and the reason why I don't think it's Kankusaki coating because Luffy would have said it. Luffy would have said it. Maybe Road would have been a little affected. A lot of times when Kankusaki gets used like that, you'll see like something happen when it comes to people watching it. But we didn't really see that. Later on, we see Gaban then actually kick the key and Luffy into the wall and pulls out his axes. And I'm gonna be honest with you, when he pulls out his weapons, it's very badass. And Zoro notices right away, and he says, "Yaso Takeru, Army of the Brave." As Gaban puts his might into this attack, Zoro says let's Luffy dodge as a bunch of flying slashes get sent to Luffy, and Zoro blocks it and Luffy dodges it. I don't even think Rayleigh has done a named attack yet, so this was pretty serious of Gaban. One of the tower of the castles actually falls off, which is a feat because of how big the giant-sized castle is, and the cloud gets cut as well. Even Zoro is sweating is a feat because when Zoro's sweating, it means the guy has serious power. So Gaban definitely got our respect in the fan base. Zoro casually blocking Kaido's slash, but sweating for Gaban. Yeah, Gaban says Luffy has a good crew because he knows what he just threw out there, as Nami and Road are just in complete shock. And yeah, Gaban really gave me a surprise. I loved it, the way he moved in this chapter. I thought it was really cool how Gear 5 had horns, like Luffy using an axe and him having horns, kind of gave the Elbaf vibes. And then of course Zoro with his haki leaking from the sword. I thought it was cool as well as they start their counterattack. Scopper sees Luffy's white appearance for the first time as he heard about it. And I think he remembers because he's been to Laughdale. You guys have to remember, he's been to Laughdale. He knows the true history. He knows Joy Boy. And honestly, I think he definitely heard about this white form on Elbaf too, because the murals. And then there's also Laughdale. Like, this guy knows a lot of the lore of One Piece. So seeing the white form and then he bounces. Yeah, it was an aura moment for Scopper Gaban. He had a lot of aura in this moment. We see the tower falling onto the giant mountains of Elbaf, and it's comparable. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it's comparable to those giant mountains. So honestly, it looks like Gaban just cut a regular sized mountain, probably because if that tower is comparable to the giant sized mountains of Elbaf, imagine how a regular sized mountain is. So yeah, Scopper Gaban definitely gets my respect. He then surrenders as the 2v1 was starting, and it was such a Oda. I'm like, Oda, how are you gonna tease me like this? I wanted to see this fight so badly. This would have been so hyped to see. Now jumping back to the Holy Knights plotline, I can't wait till the Straw Hats actually interact with these guys. But yeah, they notice that there's a school, so it's gonna be easier for them to abduct children. Like, just show you how evil and piece of shit these Holy Knights are. Gonku then summons the Holy Knights. It looks like the Holy Knights were already about to be immobilized as a naked Saint Summers of the Shepherd family related to Gorosei Jupiter. That's a good plot line. And a mysterious awakened sash mythical creature named Saint Killingham of the Lemoshev family, a new family of celestial dragons, arrive on Elbaf. And Killingham forgot where he was told to go. And this guy's not wearing clothes. Like, you're seeing some really goofy characters, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I love it. It makes the arc fun. Like, you need characters like this to make the arc fun. We can't just have serious Shamrock and serious Gonko here. Like, no, that's gonna be boring. You need the balance, guys. Going back to Zoro and Luffy were pissed off and said, we're not seeing you again, to Scopper Gaban, after he said just joking a surrender. And Gaban was smiling like a troll. Like, he definitely gives me troll vibes. Like, is the Sanji's gonna be like this when he gets older? It's gonna be funny seeing Sanji at this age. As we get a flashback of Gaban saying he won't trust Luffy because Shanks said so. And Shanks says, fine, that's by you. That's fine by me. As Shanks met Gaban, and that's what he meant with old friends. That statement gets confirmed here. It's cool to see Gaban talk to Shanks like that, because it's like how Shanks met with Whitebeard. Like, Gaban the other day knew Shanks when he was 1 year old. Like, he doesn't, like, he just looks at him like a brat, even though Shanks is a monster in the One Piece overall story. Then we see Saint Summers is mad that they summoned him while he wasn't ready, and I don't blame him. Like, that definitely lost him some aura points. And Killingham has a Celestial Dragon astronaut look going on for him, as he says Elbaf is huge. They were ordered to take Shamrock back to the Maryland, the Motherland, or no, the Holy Land. What the hell am I saying? They were ordered to take him back to the Holy Land from the highest rank, aka the strongest Holy Knight. I can't wait to see who's the strongest Holy Knight, because Garling is a Gorson now, so there has to be someone above Shamrock and below Garling. I can't wait to see who that is. And Saint Summer says Shamrock's presence is important in Mary Joy. So Shamrock is still one of the strongest Holy Knights, probably like right under the strongest Holy Knight. So they definitely value his power, and they need him back there. That's good to know he's strong as hell. We already knew he was strong as hell from like just what we were seeing in the beginning of Elbaf, but good to see other Holy Knights kind of snapping that. Saint Summers then says, did you just bring us here to visit Harold's grave? And I'm just thinking, yes. I called it. I said it so early in the story. I said there's something going on with this Loki plotline, and Ja Rule looks kind of fishy. Like, was King Harold really a good guy? And we get the confirmation, the Holy Knights respect King Harold. I'm thinking he probably was a Holy Knight. That's the reason why they're asking Loki, probably. They had King Harold as a Holy Knight, and they're like, yo, we need another giant as a Holy Knight. And they asked Loki, the strongest giant, but strongest giant before Loki is probably King Harold. That's what I think, guys. I don't know what you guys think, but that's what I think. I thought it was also cool how the two new Holy Knights were locked in on the mission as soon as they got updated. And they start trying to see what they're going to do with the kids. I think Killingham says we got to carry them on ships because we can't bring them through the abyss, the magic circle, as Gunko is disgusted by Killingham, which is probably going to be a plot line we're going to see later on. Shamrock then says, let's turn it into a game with the Holy Knight's abilities it is brought there. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be a God Valley 2.0. Who knows? But a lot of scheming, a lot of plotting. I want to see a lot of action with these Holy Knights now. I want to see what they're capable of. As I'm really interested in the plotline of the Holy Knights. I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never been more interested in the plotline like that I have been with the Holy Knights. It's really cool. Back to the beginning of the chapter, I thought it was cool how Luffy didn't want to steal the key, and Zoro remembering Colin's dad was supposedly the strongest on Elbaf when it comes to defeating all the giant mighty warriors, which makes sense. Scopper Gaban probably was the strongest on Elbaf. He's been there for 20 years. Loki just probably just recently, like the last 6 to like 10 years, probably surpassed Scopper Gaban in strength. That's my idea of it. But yeah, he gets a lot of respect on Elbaf. I just already see by Rose's reaction and the way they were hyping him up earlier. Mountain Eater, like, he's hype. Luffy tries to get the key but fails as he wants to go back to Loki. And honestly, when Luffy says this, I'm thinking, yo, he needs to actually go back to Loki. Now that we know King Harold is the traitor, now we know he's evil, and Ja Rule's evil as well. With the Cerberus eating him up right now, we need Luffy to rush there and reveal this, like, not reveal this, but free this man. He is actually innocent. I'm looking at Shanks a little side-eye too. Not really, but like, I'm looking at Shanks like, I wonder if Shanks knows of King Harold and all this. Because Shanks the one that took him down, but Shanks met up with Loki again, so maybe Shanks doesn't think Loki's evil. Maybe he took him down for a different reason, which I don't know what's going to be, but that legendary Delph root probably is involved. I thought it was cool how Gaban was complimenting Luffy's straw hat. Remember God Valley, how Roger was wearing it? That's one of the few times we see Roger wearing it, and Gaban was talking to Roger in that moment. So I thought that was cool that Gaban mentioned it. And Luffy says Shanks entrusted me, and Gaban's like, yo, he's a stingy man, as he dodges all of Luffy's approaches. Like, it's a Yonko that Gaban is casually talking to while fighting. Like, this is insane that Luffy, people forget that Luffy's a Yonko. Yeah, Monkey D. Luffy, the main character. No, he's a Yonko. He's one of the strongest characters in the series. And Gaban just casually dodging that. Like, that's hype. Luffy, of course, corrects Gaban and says, that's not what I meant. And don't call him stingy. But Gaban puts the key in Luffy's mouth saying, you talk a lot, chatterbox, which I found funny. Because he's right. Luffy is a top tier yapper, for being completely real. I also found it hilarious when Gaban surrendered. Zoro's like, are you joking? And he's like, Gaban's like, calm down, it's just a joke. And Luffy says, you try to kill us, how is that a joke? And he says, what's the problem? You guys didn't die. And all I'm thinking is Luffy's confirming if he didn't dodge and if Zoro didn't block the attack, there would have been great damage to Luffy and Zoro. Imagine a Yonko in his right hand getting great damage from one man by old man fighting them. That would have been a big blow to Luffy and Zoro's reputation, but also a lot of hype to Scopper Gaban. There's a lot of confirmation that Gaban is a monster just from this interaction right here. Scopper then says, when the time for you guys to leave Elbaf, come visit me again as long as Elbaf is safe. And he stops Road from revealing his identity, which I kind of liked Oda doing that. Like, there's no reason for right now for them to know that he's a Roger Pirate. I think it would be cool if they learned at the end of the arc or towards the end of the arc. So I actually liked Oda doing this with Scopper Gaban. I'm a fan of it. And the cover story continues with the whole Yamato, Who's Who, now page 1 in Ulti, as Who's Who's throwing darts at Ulti. And honestly, like, this is an interesting dynamic here. Like, it looks like some weird freaky stuff going on with this thing. I don't know, maybe I'm tripping, I'm not the only one, as Ulti is threatening to kill everyone in there, which she does have the power. Like, she is incredibly strong. I still think Who's Who's stronger, but I think she's one of the strongest Flying Six members after her Luffy showing and her Big Mom showing. Yeah, Ulti has a lot of aura, but yeah, she says anybody who touches page 1 is getting packed out, and that was pretty cool to see her defending her brother. But honestly, it's gonna be cool to see what, like, first of all, I don't know how page 1 OT got captured like this. It's 2 Flying Six versus 1 Flying Six, so I'm not sure how this mathematically even work. I know Who's is strong, but I don't think he was this strong. And then of course, I wonder where Yamato's gonna play a part, because we know Yamato already dealt damage to Ulti. Ulti doesn't really mess with Yamato, so see her come in there, save page 1 and Ulti will be interesting. And then we'll see a situation where Who's Who versus Yamato, which Yamato should just low diff Who's Who. It should be a one-shot, if I'm being honest, because Yamato is incredibly strong. So this cover story actually has my attention more than other cover stories. Oda, you really hit the nail with this one. And the last thing I want to talk about in this chapter is seeing the kids shouting at the bird that Gonko and Shamrock were riding on, but Anji missed it, the teacher. This is a callback to an African story of the kids seeing the UFO. So Holy Knights don't even think they're human. So I love Oda adding this little detail here. And honestly, this chapter was a really good one. That's why I was yapping for a while. I'm not too sure how long I talked in this video, but I felt like I'm kind of exhausted the way I'm talking. But I loved it, and I can't wait. There's no break next week, so I'm going to get another chapter. Let's go. But yeah, if you don't like my takes, then just disagree in the comment section.